Can someone
it's
please
visible.
confirm if it's visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, yeah. So good evening, everyone. I am Tanvi Masani, and my study buddy is Swati, and we are going to present index mapping exercise on paper 5, strategic cost management and performance evaluation. So giving a brief introduction to index mapping exercise and what is exactly index mapping exercise. Index mapping exercise is basically skimming the study material. Now, what the skimming means, the action of reading something quickly so as to note only the important points. So this gives the overall bird view of what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, so that when you are going for the subject thoroughly, you are very clear on what chapters you have to give more focus and more time. And this technique ensures that no page is left unturned. For even writing 3 words, you have to go through all the pages of the chapter. And thus, if you are going through just the question or any summary notes, you can ensure that no page is left unturned, and you will discover that many topics are still left if you are not going through all the study materials. So basics of index mapping will be explained by Swati. Handing over to you.
Swati, you're able to unmute yourself?
It's not visible. Okay.
Yes, Swati, but there is some level of disturbance. You're audible.
Okay, thank you, Tanvi.
You're not
Basics
visible,
of
but
index mapping and how it is done. But on my side, okay.
yeah, you can go ahead now.
Basics of index mapping and how it is done. 3 words to be written under each chapter. The title of the concepts explained thereunder is given in the index. Against such title, 3 words are to be written. Trigger points. Those 3 words shall be such that help in recalling the content of that particular concept while revising. Now I'm explaining IME for SMP. It is easy and quick. IME for SMP is easy and quick because it is more of a practical subject. Sub concepts under the chapter are relatively less. Understanding and recalling the same can be understanding.
Swati, is the background noise coming from your end?
Recalling the same can be. Okay. Just give me 1 second, sir.
Then we can meanwhile get started. Start explaining it. I think the voice from your end is clear.
Yeah, no problem. So continuing for index mapping for SEMP, SEMP is relatively easy to exercise index mapping. I thought so because I have first started it for DT, and compared to that, SEMP is nothing. SEMP has fairly very less chapters, very less subcategories under that, and that's why it is comparatively easy and completed very quickly. It can be that I have already practiced for DT, So in my opinion, it is completed quickly, but yes. And then charts and summaries of the studies material. There are many charts and summaries for the chapters, so that index mapping is way easier through that. And the concept can be even read completely to arrive at 3 trigger points. So yeah, it has very easily explainable in the study material that we can easily arrive at the 3 trigger words. Okay, so for the example, I have taken the heading of just in time, the concept of just in time. This is the length of the concept that has been given in study material, which we have to summarize into just 3 words. So for the instance, I have written no inventory handling cost, Kanban card, and working cells. Through this, I can just have the review of what just-in-time concept really is. So this is basically index mapping exercise from this to this. So this helps in even revision, quick revision for anything chapters that you have completed and you want to quickly revise it. This is the example of case study which Swati has done and submitted. If she can explain, then she'll go through this. Swati, can you go?
Yes. Thank you, Gandhi.
Excuse me. Sorry to disturb. Sorry to disturb, but can you, miss, provide the page number of the study mat of the ICI?
Srinivas, you can look into this later. Don't disturb the flow. Swati, go ahead.
This is the value chain analysis balance scorecard is explained from page number 12.4 to 12.8. This is now such a case study is to be summarized in points for the exercise of index mapping. Can you please show the next slide?
Even next in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Is this slide relevant, Swati?
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
For IME, it is to be summarized in 3 triggering words. Value chain analysis focuses on how input change into output, primary and secondary activities. And for balance scorecard, it is 5 trigger point. Financial, customer, internal business, and training and growth perspective. Now I'm this conclusion. Index mapping helps in keeping one engaged to the subject, which in turn help in understanding clearly those few chapters that can attract major marks, thus helping in to pass the subject for those who find themselves weak in SCMP, and not just before beginning the subject but also even after completing the subject thoroughly. It helps in retaining and recalling the content therein in a very less period of time. Thank you everyone. Sorry for the disturbance.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yes, Shashaji, go ahead. We'll continue and stay in touch. Thanks for staying with us so far. We'll get back to you. Yeah. Okay. So the first one, when you study something, if you have to present it in a particular context, look at the range of things that can go wrong. I'm talking about presentation. The reason why I want you to understand this is when you prepare for something, when you have to go and write in the exam, hell number of things can go wrong. You're ready, but the presentation itself is a separate step altogether. This is a simple example. Voice goes wrong, background noise, internet does not work, whatever it is. On the day of the exam, you might get headache, you do not get enough sleep, you're overstressed, something or other, where there is some semantic barrier. Now, right now, as you're presenting, a lot of people are watching and looking at this eagerly. Like, what would happen? What would you say? Now, the examiner would initially have this excitement with every paper. Like, they would definitely have this excitement with every paper. Now, when he opens this answer sheet, if there is some seamlessness, they'll continue. He'll continue paying the same amount of attention, start reading. When the seamlessness is not there, writing is not legible, too many strikeouts, no clarity in terms of the order of the questions, all half solved, that's it, you lose interest. Understanding? So when you have the attention of the examiner for 30 to 40 minutes, you have to quickly ensure he just goes from the first page to the last page, flips the pages, tuck, and he gives some marks and end of story, that's it. Please understand, he does not care about personally making you a chartered accountant and not making a chartered accountant, doesn't know. So he's a human who has limited understanding, who has limited attention. Right? If there are any disturbances, see, with due respect, everybody has some different issues. That's not the point. But on the day of the examination, while you have to present something, it definitely has to happen in a particular format. And it is not going to happen automatically. Today is a reality strike. The reason why we are doing this today is this. It's not about telling you problems in advance. You have to understand it this way. So you think, okay, I studied something, I had a discussion with my study buddy on the day of the presentation, it will happen. No, that's not how it is. Exam also is like this. Now today, if you have heard Suresh Kallarala, I think some of you met him directly. He said one thing very clearly, right? Number one, syllabus completion. Because of the 1 week per subject strategy, I was able to complete. Speed of completion improved. Number two, revision. Frequency of and intervals of revision has helped me extremely well. Number three, exam. Every week in exam, he said only one thing. I'm able to understand my mistakes, identify my mistakes. So this is what it is. So these are all presentation mistakes. Of course, the context is slightly different, but so many things can go wrong, which are not just linked to your subject. So what I'm indirectly doing is I'm making you get into the art of getting ready by a particular time. Now on this day, everybody thinks if I have 1 more hour, please give me 10 more minutes. I'll do in the next presentation. This is the crap which you say, but you had the whole bloody week. Now, if you understand, the same thing happens in November. I need 1 more day. I need 1 more hour. Why are you begging for time when you have this? When you have 100 days, what bloody difference when this 1 hour will make? So reverse engineer it. Reverse engineer it. Deadline is a deadline. Hard deadline. Damn hard deadline. That's how it has to happen. So if you have to present something, if you have to convert your knowledge, your understanding into something in a different format, you have to start reverse engineering it. What do you present? First, figure out that, then come back, then build on, present, come back. So I would attribute 33% weightage to presentation. Like, even if you complete only 70% of syllabus, if you do your presentation very clear, that's how I did. You don't have to complete 100% syllabus. You don't have to revise everything 5 times, not even 3 times. If the presentation is reasonably good, that will be sorted. Getting it? Understanding? So from this week onwards, like now that you are transiting, or the transition is happening from the regular way to the full-fledged one, boot camps to the 10-day strategy. Most of you, some of you are still doing boot camps, that's okay. So you only have time till July 20th, which is another 2 weeks. Exactly another 2 weeks is what we have. In this time, increase the level of seriousness, start integrating what you study, how you revise, and to the extent you're presenting. Cycle, syllabus completion, revision, presentation, start focusing on it. While you're writing the exam, see the interconnections. Presentation, any format, oral format, sharing the screen, writing it out. And the most important step here, is your day-end revision tracker. Because you're bringing out what you're studying into something external format. You're building the habit of converting a thought into something visible and tangible. If you're writing on your note or typing it, anything is fine. So if you start doing all of this, by a week's time, you'll suddenly improve the level at which you're presenting. For example, you're studying 100%. Right now, you're only able to present 30%, 40%. You're not even able to write what you completely know, whether it's a day-end revision or exam mistake tracker. You're not able to completely submit it, right? So what will happen is, as you proceed forward, it will come to a point where you will be in a position to start presenting everything you know, how cool it is. So all of you understand that in the previous exam, previous attempt, had you presented everything you know, you would have cleared. Forget about what you don't know. You're not even able to present what you already know, right? So that is the gap. That is something which you have to work upon. Okay. So technical difficulties, one thing which you have to clearly understand, it's not about you. When 50 future CAs are paying attention to you, 1 minute is equal to 50 minutes. Sort everything clearly. It's a one-time opportunity. Like once they lose attention, once they think that you're not, it indicates non-seriousness. For example, on the day of the interview, when you're not presenting yourself in a particular way, it indicates you're not serious. When you had 1 week time to fix everything, there are only two problems. One is your lighting, like how we are visible, and your audio. Now, when it comes to audio, your voice is the only thing which has to be audible, nothing else, right? You just have to close the door, as simple as that. For temporarily, for the whole week, you just have to do it for 10 minutes. It's not a difficulty, no matter 10 people are living in your house. But that it commands a certain level of seriousness. Now, how do you present? Whether you have to watch me or whether you have to be visible to others, just do a 1 GB extra recharge on your Geo. That's it. Like what is internet bandwidth, just do it. Or move to a place where you have better signal, as simple as it. These are all serious things. For example, see, you need to understand, imagine you have to come to a physical coaching center. What is the cost involved from sitting there and coming to, today I had as I said, I had an interview in a TV channel. Now they're asking why you're not doing offline. We have students from Jammu Kashmir till all the 26 states. We have students from 26 states currently. Now when we're having that, I cannot expect them to come here and spend lakhs staying out of the comfort of the home and all of that. But having said that, you just have to do that basic thing. When you have to be joining a live study or when you have to present yourself in a particular way, you have to take care of the basics, right? You're saving hours and hours every single day, not going to a library, not doing all of this. It's all saving, and happily you're sitting at your home, eating home food and studying and preparing. It's a huge opportunity which you're coming. But that you should not take it for granted. Like at least that basic chota step where you're reasonably visible, where you're reasonably audible has to be taken care of very seriously. Okay. So in terms of the approach, I really liked it, especially Tanvi was able to show it pictorially, right? Okay, this is what you have to study, and this has become this. That's very well explained. Yes, so out of the 7 to 8 pages, it has got converted into a single page. So that is how it is. Now, when you go through the single page, you'll get access to what is happening in the 7 to 8 pages. Not immediately, but it triggers that path. And you'll keep repeating, you'll keep reading it X number of times. When it is only 1 page, when it's 7 pages, you won't repeat it. But 1 page, you'll end up repeating it, reading it 7 times. Okay. And second thing, for Srinivas and others, when this is happening, you cannot learn anything in 10 minutes. Don't get excited about parallelly following it in the book. No, it's waste of time. You cannot follow anything. Just observe, just listen, just see what they're doing. When these sessions are happening, you don't have to go back and work along with them background, because your brain cannot observe things so fast. Just calmly and silently look at it, correlation, what they're doing, what is it you can observe directly by putting in this 10 minutes. That's it. We're not expected to quickly follow on all the page numbers. That's not relevant, and it is counterproductive actually. Okay, so this is from the first step. Now let's give a chance to the next team. Which other team is ready? Noor, you are ready, or anybody else who is ready, who can go forward?
I'll present, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. If you can
Yeah,
share your
good.
screen, please go.
Can
ahead.
I start?
Go
Okay.
Manogn is back. Good. Yeah.
Hi everyone. Today it is about company law. Chapter 1, appointment and qualification of directors. Company to have board of directors, minimum public company 3, private 2, maximum 15. Appointment of directors at least 2/3, 1/3 has to retire by rotation. Then there are 3 application. Right of persons other than retiring directors to stand for directorship, notice at least 14 days, deposit 1 lakh. Appointment of directors elected by small shareholders. Notice by not less than 1,000 shareholders or 1/10 small shareholders. Appointment of additional alternate nominee director. Subject to AOA, board of directors can appoint. Appointment of directors to be voted individually. No appointment more than 2 directors by single resolution. Option to adopt the principle of proportional representation for appointment of directors. Not less than 2/3 of total directors appointment. Disqualification for appointment of directors if imprisoned more than or equal to 6 months. Minimum 5 years has to lapse. If imprisoned more than or equal to 7 years, then for life disqualified. Maximum number of directorships 20 companies. Public company not more than 10. Independent directors limited listed public company 1/3. Unlisted public company at least 2 independent directors. If paid up share capital is more than or equal to 10 crores. Turnover more than or equal to 100 crores. Outstanding loan more than 50 crores. Data bank. Independent director may be selected from a data bank. Duties of directors follow AOA, act in good faith, not do undue gain, not assign his office. Vacation of director. If disqualified under section 164, absence for 12 months for board meetings, 184, more than 6 months imprisonment. Resignation of director, DR 11 form. Removal of director, remove before expiry, ordinary resolution. If independent director removal, first term ordinary resolution, second term special resolution. Resignation, register of directors and key managerial person and their shareholding at register office. Members right to inspect at business hours. Punishment, company and officer 50,000 plus 500 per day. And then appointment and remuneration of managerial personnel. No MD and manager at the same time. Term not more than 5 years at a time. Age 21 to 70. Imprison if more than 6 months disqualified. Appointment of key managerial personnel. Whole time key managerial personnel. Listed company and public company. Paid up share capital is more than or equal to 10 crores. Functions of company secretary. Compliance with act and to guide the directors. Company to fix limit with regard to remuneration. Overall maximum managerial remuneration, all directors plus manager less than or equal to 11% of net profits. If there is one management MD or WTD or manager less than or equal to 5% of net profits, more than one MD or WTD, then less than or equal to 10% of net profit. Recovery of managerial remuneration in certain cases. If to restate the financial statements due to fraud, then past MD, WTD, manager are liable. Compensation for loss of office of managing or a whole-time director or manager. No compensation if he resigns. Vacate under section 167. If company wound up because of the director guilty of fraud. Secretarial audit for bigger companies. Listed company and public company if paid up share capital is more than or equal to 50 crore. Turnover more than or equal to 250 crore. Every company outstanding loans more than or equal to 100 crores. Meetings of board and its powers. First board meeting within 30 days. Next with minimum 4 in calendar year. Gap between 2 board meetings is equal to 120 days. Section 8 companies, 1 board meeting in 6 months. 1 person, small dormant company, private company, 1 board meeting in 6 months. Quorum of meeting of board, 1/3 or 2 directors, whichever is higher. Section 8 companies, 8 members or 25% of members, whichever is lower. Audit company, whistle mechanism and punishment. It is applicable to listed public company, unlisted public company if more than or equal to 10 crores, turnover more than or equal to 100 crores. Outstanding loan more than 50 crore. NRC and SRC. NRC applicable as per the audit committee limit. And SRC if the company has more than 1,000 shareholders. Powers of board to borrow money, invest funds, grant loans or give guarantee. Restrictions on powers of board. To sell, invest, compensation received from mergers and acquisition, borrow money, remit any debt. Company to contribute to charitable funds. Ordinary resolution if more than 5% of average net profits of 3 years. Provision and restrictions regarding political contributions. Any amount, government company with less than 3 financial years are prohibited. Power of board to make to contribution to National Defence Fund, any amount. Disclosure of interest by director. Within 30 days of appointment, more than 2% of shareholding, promoter, manager, partner, not to participate in the meeting. Loans to directors, no company to give loans to directors. Loans and investment by company, maximum 2 layers of investment. Related party transactions, ordinary resolution if it exceeds the limit. Payment to director for loss of office in connection with transfer of undertaking, property or shares. Approval by shareholders by ordinary resolution in general meeting. Restriction on non-cash transactions involving directors, company not to acquire assets for consideration other than cash. And then inspection, inquiry and investigation. Power to call for information, inspect books and conduct inquiries. Scrutiny of any document or information received by ROC. conduct of inspection and inquiry, duty of company or director to produce document information, report on inspection made, register sends a report to central government, search and seizure, books likely to be altered, search and seizure, 180 days have to return it, investigation into affairs of the company based on the report under section 208 or public interest or special resolution by the company, establishment of SFIO to investigate fraud relating to company, investigation into affairs of the company by SFIO, investigation into company affairs in other cases, application made by 100 members or 1/10 of voting power or 1/5 of the persons or company to defraud the creditors. Firm, body, corporate, or association not to be appointed as inspector. Investigation of ownership of the company to determine true person who controls or financial interest. Procedure, powers, etc. of inspectors. Period of custody, 180 days. Inspectors report, interim report, final report to central government. Actions to be taken in pursuance of inspectors report. Prosecute petition for wound up. Voluntary winding up of company, etc., not to stop investigating procedures, legal advisors and bankers not to disclose certain information, investigation, etc., of foreign companies. Provisions of this chapter applies to foreign company as well. Penalty, it is offense under section 447, fraud. Compromises, arrangements and amalgamations. Power to compromise or make arrangements with creditors and members, tribunal on application. Power of tribunal to enforce compromise or arrangement, supervise and modifications to implement. Merger and amalgamation of companies, tribunal order, meeting of creditors or members. Power to acquire shares of shareholders dissenting from scheme, approved by shareholders more than or equal to 9/10 of the value within 4 months of the offer by the transferee company. Purchase of minority shareholding more than or equal to 90% of the issued share capital, shall notify a company to buy the remaining equity shares. Liability of the officers in respect of offences committed prior to merger amalgamation shall continue be liable after merger and amalgamation. Fast track mode of merger or amalgamation of certain companies in case of small company holding and its subsidiaries and startup companies. Merger or amalgamation of company with a foreign company, prior approval of RBI and terms and conditions of the scheme to provide for payment of consideration. Prevention of operational mismanagement. Affairs of the company conducted prejudicial to the public interest, members' interest of the company. Material change in the management or control of the company. Right to apply under section 241 is decided under section 244. Powers of tribunal on receipt of the application under section 241. Tribunal pass order it may deem fit. Consequences of termination or modification of certain agreements. MD or manager or director disqualified for 5 years. Class action application with tribunal seeking restraint order. Then companies incorporated outside India. Chapter application of Act of Foreign Companies. Companies Act applies to the foreign companies as well. Documents to be delivered to register foreign companies, MOA, AOA, list of all directors, person resident in India, place of business, accounts of foreign company, every calendar year, make P&L balance sheet, copy to ROC, display of name of foreign company, outside office, place of business in India, service on foreign company, if notice is sent to the authorized representative of such foreign company. Provisions as to experts consent and allotment. Prospectus include expert statement, then written consent from expert has to be obtained. Provisions of winding up also apply to foreign company. Companies failure to comply with the provisions of this chapter not to affect validity of the contracts, but company shall not be entitled to bring any suit, claim, set off. Exemptions under this chapter, central government may by notification exempt the provisions. Miscellaneous provisions 447, punishment for fraud. Calculate the amount of 10 lakhs or 1% of the turnover, whichever is lower. If the fraud amount is more than such amount and it includes public interest, then 3 to 10 years and fine up to 3 times of amount involved. If no public interest is involved, 6 months to 10 years and fine up to 3 times of the amount. Government companies, if more than or equal to 51% of the paid up share capital held by the central government or state government, including subsidiary of the government company. Nidhi company, not less than 200 members. Net owned fund more than or equal to 10 lakhs. Net owned fund to deposit not more than 1:20. Unencumbered term deposit of more than or equal to 10% of outstanding deposits.
That's enough.
Compounding of. Okay, sir. Yes, sorry.
You can, yeah. So first of all, that has been an exceptional Power Pack presentation. All of you, please share your single sentence feedback for Manogna for the wonderful work she has done. Exceptional. Like this is exactly how the index mapping is supposed to be done.
Thank you.
Now, only with the index, can we not score 12 to 15 marks, all of you? Only by going through this index, any given paper, any attempt, can you not score, मान लो के 10 marks, can you not score 10 marks? Imagine how comfortable if you have the 10 marks in your hand at any point of time with that limited syllabus. And see, these are all trigger words. There is always more to it, but these are trigger words, right? So this is something which she has done it exceptionally well. It's beyond the average level. She has done it exceptionally well. And whatever the paper is, she's gonna crack law. At least all of us are clear about it, right? So one-time effort, it'll give you recurring returns every time you have to study law. For example, when you have to start, even when you look at the 10-day strategy, day one, we still ask you to go through the index mapping. Once again, when you go and do the revision in October, you'll once again start with index mapping. Like index mapping from 10 hours, it will become 3 hours, and then it becomes 1 hour. 1 hour will be quickly able to. Now, she took hardly 15 to 18 minutes, right? So most of the syllabus is completed. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Manogna, fabulous job, fantastic work. This is what it is. So since we got the right reference, next Monday, okay, next Monday, I want 4 teams. You do it individually, or I don't know your back-end support, but front-end, I want crystal clarity. 4 teams will get 15 minutes each to present the 4 papers, in the first group. Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. That's it. No confusion. So you're presenting that. Now, as a team, you can work upon dividing the modules, or you can take an extra step and present it in a PPT. It's up to you. It's up to you. But Manogna's simple presentation is good enough. Right? In 15 minutes, if somebody listens to you, if somebody, experiences it, you should be able to quickly recollect all the points. This is the kind of speed which you're looking. This is the best reference. And since this video is streaming live, I'll be able to share this video also very easily. It does not even, I'll just share the video almost in 10 minutes of the session. Okay. So you can go through the session, and since you can go back and watch it if you have any questions about it. So this is the reference. So next Monday, we are doing it for 4 subjects. You decide what it is. The coming we can do it for the second group, right? 15 minutes into 4 presentations, straightforward. You should be completely ready with everything. The screen sharing, audio, video, person, and everything. Is that clear? Okay. No, do we have something to add upon? Do you want to present something else?
Actually, I have economic law to present.
Okay, so what I'll give you is, I'll give you 5 minutes, present one of the chapters or a couple of chapters. Go ahead, you can share the screen and do it.
Is the screen visible?
Yes, Noor.
Economic Law Charter 1, the Foreign Exchange Management Act. To facilitate cross-border transaction trade cash flow, Foreign Exchange Management Act commenced from 1st June 2000, applicable to whole of India. There are certain definitions defined in the FEMA Act, and the residential status will be same as per the Income Tax Act 1961. Regulation and management of foreign exchange, Section 3 to Section 9 deals with the same, wherein current account transactions are freely permitted unless specifically prohibited. All the transactions are to be dealt through an authorized person. Authorized person is nothing but a person, a dealer, a offshore banking unit, or a money changes. Any person contravening the act is liable to pay the penalty under section 11, 13, and 14. However, the person can proceed with the compounding of offence within 180 days from the date of receipt of the application. The adjudicating authority is appointed by the central government to hold the inquiry and proceed with the adjudication. The appeal can be filed with the appellate tribunal. Then the enforcement of FEMA has been entrusted to the Directorate of Enforcement by RBI under Section 36, who has a power to search and seize the books, suspends the operations of the company, contravention by the companies. The Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. Conversion of illegal money to a legal or a white money is called money laundering. And to prevent the same, PMLA Act came into force. It has mainly two purposes. One is prevention of money laundering, and second purpose is to provide for confiscation of a property derived in money laundering. Section 3 and 4 deals with the punishment of an offense for the offense of money laundering, wherein a 3 years of imprisonment is given, extended up to 7 years. And Section 2 provides an adjudicating officer to attach the property of a person involved in this offense. And the same, if the adjudicating authority has a reason to believe that the person has committed an offense, shall serve a notice not less than 30 days for adjudication. And the central government will have a right to manage the property under confiscation. Banking companies, financial institutions, and intermediaries are referred as the reporting entities who has to maintain records and inform the prescribed transactions to the director within such time. The appellate tribunal hears and appeals against the order of adjudicating authority within 45 days of the order, and the same to be disposed within 6 months from the date of filing. Special court designated by the special court is a court designated by the central government in consultation with the Chief Justice of a High Court. The central government has an agreement with the foreign countries. Has an agreement with the foreign countries to exchange of information and prevention of offense. The recovery of fine and penalty can be done by the director as per the Schedule 2 of the Income Tax Act. The Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. India is a sovereign country. Therefore, foreign contribution are threats to the sovereignty of India. Thereby, FCRA and other orders were issued. FCRA was commenced from May 1st, 2011, applicable to whole of India. It has a major amendments in 2020. The regulation of foreign contribution and foreign hospitality restricts certain number of people to either obtain the foreign contribution or accept a foreign hospitality, such as member of legislature, office bearer, judges, governments. The registration of FCRA can be done through two modes, wherein one is by registration and the second one is through the proper permission. The foreign contribution accounts to be maintained only with a scheduled bank, and the source, amount, and manner of the funds needs to be indicated the respective departments. The assets or securities seized shall be confiscated within the local limits or limits as prescribed by the central government. Appeal for the same needs to be made within 1 month from the date of order, and the revision of the order can be done only by a central government on its own motive or an application made to them. Offences and penalty. Section 33 to 38 deals with an offences of penalty by an individual, and Section 39 deals with an offences and penalty by the company. The central government has a power to make rules. This act does not apply to the government of India and the government of foreign countries. The Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 to consolidate and amend law, domestic and international commercial arbitration. The Arbitration Act came into existence. Arbitration is nothing but a private method of dispute resolution by an arbitral tribunal who performs the functions of judge appointed by the parties, and he renders a decision given called as arbitral award challenged before the court. There are 4 types of arbitral award: final award, interim award, settlement award, and additional award. Conciliation refers to getting together of parties through a common agreement through confident discussion and dialogue. Section 63 to 65 provides a process of conducting the conciliation proceeding. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. Insolvency refers to not able to pay any debts by individual is called bankruptcy, and by organization is known as corporate insolvency. Corporate insolvency resolution process is where the financial creditors judges the business of debtors, and it options on the rescue and revival. It files an application with the NCLT for the process of corporate insolvency resolution process. If the corporate insolvency resolution process fails, then comes in liquidation provisions are triggered. wherein the initiation of liquidation, appointment of liquidator, powers and duties of the liquidators are started. And subsequently, when there is the micro, small and medium enterprises where they do not need to undergo CIRP or liquidation process, we refer to the pre-packed insolvency resolution process. Fast-track insolvency resolution process for a corporate person needs to be disposed within 90 days. It is applicable only for the assets and income level and such class of creditors as may be notified by the central government. Voluntary liquidation of corporate person refers to voluntarily intend to liquidate the company and meets to the condition and requirements as specified the board. Notice to ROC and board, commencement of liquidation process will take place for the same.
Fantastic, Noor. Like it's a power pack. Like you guys are like powerful openers. You did it in the same format. So essentially, entire law is covered. Absolute great joint partnership. Now let us quickly understand, how they're able to do it together, how they're able to get the kind of output which they got. So yes, both of you help others how you're able to coordinate. I think Manogna also has limited time. So how did you do it together? Yes.
Actually, in the morning we have done a Zoom call, both of us at 8 o'clock.
Right.
So we have, so we thought it is taking much more time, so we have to be fast. So Noor also has cutted some points and everything. She has prepared notes as well, very summary notes. But because of the time constraint, she has reduced only to the index mapping. And I also took time, but I understood we have to improve in the time constraint only. Other than that, we have prepared notes and everything. Yes.
Wonderful. So look at it, guys. So basically, they spend additional time. Imagine they're coming and joining for a separate study hour or separate session to improve on this. So the efforts are clearly visible. Preparation is the solution. Fantastic. Noor, anything from your side?
No, so that's what we started with, like first bifurcating to each other what topics we'll study. And slowly we shared our data with each other if there is any flaws to be addressed. Then we planned the rehearsals and and then we gave each other opinions. And when till evening we were like in line with each other, like what have we compressed, have we reduced it to 15 minutes or not, coordinated a lot and then completed it.
Excellent, guys. All of you just unmute yourself once. Unmute yourself. Give them a round of applause so that they can actually listen to this. Wonderful job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Fantastic. Right? So individually, they've done something. They did the index mapping very well. Plus, together, they worked on it. It wasn't easy, guys. Together, they had to work on it. So it's not possible all the time. So this is the kind of output which you're talking about. In 20 minutes, the subject has to be resolved. That's it. Some of you who are not able to catch the points is because your basic understanding is not yet there, or your index mapping is not yet done properly. If you have done it reasonably well, you can literally start looking at the bigger definitions around it. That is something which will automatically happen. Okay. So since you are put in a lot of work, Noor and Manogna, so for this attempt, for the group 1 or both groups, you guys are taking care of law. You guys are, earlier it was Teja, Sai Teja Marapalli, who wrote over the X factor, Y factor. In his batch, he was taking care of law because it was his strength. And in fact, he has got exemptions in both law and economic laws. Like his elective is also economic law, he got it. So this time you have at least as far as CEL is concerned, you're doing it really well. So you work on it, you continue it, and probably I'll arrange a special session only on law. So I'll give the whole space to you. And you can explain it in a far more detailed manner, and there'll be some Q&A. So that is how you guys are working on it. So law is something which you have to sort it out. And if you want additional support, I'll attach one of the chartered accountants who has cleared and who got an exemption in law. So there'll be some additional support to you. But within the batch, you guys are taking care of it. Okay, I'm super satisfied with the effort and output. Well done. Very good. Cool.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So all of you got a reference. This is what is expected from you. So this is, I think they set the right context. Like now, earlier, one more couple set the right context in terms of the effort. Now this guy set the right context in terms of the result, right? So this is what I'm expecting next time. Each partner or each pair will get 15 minutes together. So break it into half or however it is. Even if it's not completed completely, like 3 minutes per chapter is what you can look at. 5 chapters for explaining, which has a weightage of 50 marks. That is great, fantastic. Let's when you talk about financial reporting, if you do India's 115 consolidation and 3 more chapters, 2 more chapters, which has a together weightage of 40-50 marks, that's good enough. That's okay. Like 15 minutes, what is it? But please understand, it takes some extra bit of effort. It takes some extra bit of effort. Okay. Now to conclude this, you started the journey before joining with negativity, like it was over negativity. And after you came in, it was completely emphasized on positivity. This week, I'm readjusting everything where you'll start getting the reality strike. So negativity is one end, positivity one end, there is something called reality in between. Okay, that is exactly what we are actually focusing upon this particular week. So reality is what going to hit you this week. This week, the only target is all of you should be individually capable to present one subject index mapping for the subject which you're already preparing, the same subject. Now with your study partner, if it's going in the same track, well and good. If not, complement each other or present to each other so that you can exchange both the subjects. Like, see, there are multiple benefits to this. Presentation is only a part of it. Much before that, if you're hearing to each other, if you're listening to each other, both of them would have increased capability in both economic law and corporate law. Imagine how much effort they would have put in that perspective, right? So this is exactly what has to be done. This week, the only target is, because by 10th, you will be able to completing your king subject, all of you who have started. If not, you'll be doing a boot camp, right? So as you're completing your king subject, you should be ready with the index mapping or the summary of the entire subject in a far more precise manner. Can we agree upon this? This is the only target. I want all of you to be ready with this by Sunday 9 p.m. itself. Next week submission should happen by Sunday 9 p.m. itself. We'll ask you something to submit, so that has to be ready. Monday you're rehearsing, and Monday night, like 4 teams will get an opportunity to present paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. This is exactly how it has to happen. So is the objective clear for all of you? Clear? Okay, group 2 will take a little later. So group 1 is what we are tackling the coming week. Those who are writing only group 2, who are left with only group 2, prepare for group 2 subjects. You'll get an opportunity. You're just getting ready. You don't have to do anything differently. The king subject which you are preparing, you have to get better at, especially for the index. The whole objective is in 15 minutes, how much value can you give it to the entire crowd is what you have to focus upon. Like this is a fantastic reference. Is it clear? Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next objective, like results are going to be released on 5th. Now, how many of you here are actually waiting for results? Like you have written a attempt and it's going to concern you. Like how many of you are given an attempt? Just raise your hands, show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. Somewhere around 5, 6 participants. Okay. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm not even trying to demotivate you. I'm trying to make it practical. Results are declared or results are decided on the day of your examination. They have been decided. They're only being declared now. So it's not surprising. All of you might have a reasonable understanding. There is a 20% variation. I totally agree that 180 to 200 is tricky. Like people, somebody cannot say that I thought I'll clear. I got only 140. So which means there's a difference in terms of how you are expecting the examiner to evaluate you. Somebody says I expected to clear, you end up getting 175. That's a different story. Okay, so the results are already decided. They're only being declared day after tomorrow. The only thing which I have to do is, if it is positive, like nothing like that, right? Fantastic, fabulous. You don't have to discuss anything. If it's positive, you don't have to think about it. Like I need not tell you how to party, how to enjoy all of that, right? That is something that you know. Now, if it's negative, treat failure as a fact. It's a fact. You did not clear, you have to write it one more time. End of story. Instead of writing one group, you have to write both groups, or you have to repeat the same group. That's it. Do not convert this into a long-term emotional and useless journey. Treat failure like a fact, not as an emotion. Otherwise, failure will become a fact for the next attempt also. You don't have enough time. We have limited time. We cannot afford to go through emotional drama. See, why do you go? See, it's a very comfortable thing to slip into depression saying that I'm depressed, I'm sad, I cannot study, I don't want to study. That's a bloody excuse. Now, if something has to be done, it has to be done before the exam. The only thing which you can do is you have to do it before the next exam, which is in November. In case I'm talking about the worst case scenario, I'm just preparing you. So this result, it's just a routine thing which is happening. You're preparing, you open the website, it's pass, fantastic. If it's something else, we'll start with the effort. That's okay. You're just continuing your day. You're just thinking that, okay, let me write 8 papers or whatever. We'll look at it. We'll discuss all scenarios like, should you write one group? We'll discuss all of that. But right now, you're completing your boot camp or you're completing your king subject. Nothing changes. If you can do this one step, if you can not get affected by results, your probability of clearing in the upcoming attempt will go significantly. It will hit the roof because this emotional drama will kill 2-3 weeks for most of the people. Unnecessary and useless emotional drama, and from there it's like every day you don't study, you're going back -2. Like it's like +1 +1 +1. One day you don't study, you'll go to -2. Like you're wasting 3 days of effort. I showed you the cumulative graph, right? 39 or 1, 0.99 or 1.01. You remember that cumulative compounding effect? So that is what you have to understand. Okay, this is about the result. Now, in terms of what else can happen, this particular result is very different and important because no matter what you think about the new syllabus, November is easy to clear than in May. November is easy to clear than in May. Let's say you're working. Even in next May, you might be working, right? Nothing changes. Like, don't get the illusion that I have to write only 3 papers. No, that's not how it works. Like, don't get excited about a new syllabus. If you're thinking so, you're only getting into a temporary illusion. Don't slip into that. Whatever it is, tackle it hard, finish it off in November. That's it. Don't get into the new zone. Don't even think of getting into the new zone unless you're writing it one group consciously. Let's say you're working, you're writing one group, that's okay. And second thing, don't worry about transition. As I said earlier, it's either 1 hour form submission or 1 day form submission. You don't have to do anything right now. Nothing. Even ICA has clarified it. Nothing has to be done from you right now because ICA is not mentioning. And all the permutations of combinations of if you pass in one group, if you get exemption in one paper, ICA will declare. You don't have to do anything, nothing. Unless you are bored, unless you don't have anything to do, that is when you have to think about that. I think you have a lot on your load, so don't have to bother about it. Let ICA come back with clarification. Normally, you're preparing for your respective groups. This part is clear. Next. Last time, I think we have shared a form with specific set of people. Like specific set of people where we took references from only certain set of people. We did not ask references from everyone. That was because only when you're personally using this mentorship, your references would be right. If you yourself is not using it, if you yourself are not studying, we may not be able to find the right fit. So that is the reason why we're given it. But now when the results are out, what we normally do is, now we're at least in safe hands. Like you're seeing me, are visible and all. You're at least protected with something, with positivity. But there are at least 1.3 lakh students who fail. Last time 1.3 lakh failed. This time also 1.3 lakh will fail at least. So what about them? So we kind of put in a lot of effort. For them to make sure they don't slip into depression. Now, one workshop is not enough for them to clear, but it is good enough for them not to slip into depression, but stay grounded. So we'll be most likely conducting workshops for a week at 7 p.m. every single day, like starting from 5th, where the results are 5th, 6th, 7, 8, or whatever it is. I'll share the schedule also. If you have anyone who is yet to clear or who has failed, you can share that. Okay, we'll share you the links also. Let them. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to recommend. Just say that if I failed, please spend 90 minutes or whatever it is. Let them take whatever it is. So it's the only thing is you can only create an opportunity for them. How they utilize it, how they learn, whether they make notes, would they stay for 30 minutes, would they only pick up the important points, it's up to them. So that is something which you can do. This is an open invitation for all of you. If you think somebody needs it. So all these workshops are free workshops. 1 week from the result till the next 1 week, we continuously do it. So that, we will be able to help at least 1,000 students to stabilize. The whole objective is they're not slipping out. They don't have the support. Like, see, it's not about money alone. Please understand. if you have listened to Suresh, everybody takes 6 months to join. It's not about present or absence of money. It's not easy to take a decision. You're at least in safe hands. You're in better hands. Like, you know that, okay, something is happening, you know, right set of people, you have this advantage. Remaining people, imagine yourself in the last attempt where you had nobody to say, where you had to deal with it, right? Nobody else should go through that. That is exactly why we keep doing all of this free sessions along with what is happening here. Okay, we'll share the links, we'll share the schedule. So please send it and just have a one-word conversation. Just when you say that, they'll feel assured that, okay, so somebody is saying it strongly, somebody is experiencing it, let me do it. So they don't slip into it. If they slip into it, then it'll take a very long time for them to come out of it. So you can save their attempt by taking this simple lesson. Okay, so these are the rest of list of things which are given, and all the 7 p.m. sessions you can also attend. The whole point is, this is something which you already know. This is something which we're already discussing. This is something which you already know. So I would prefer if you spend that 1 hour or 1.5 hour or 2 hours of workshop to study something tangible, since you already know that. But having said that, if you think you need some refresher, or you think that sometimes it boosts you, right? Sometimes you want to just get that hang of things once again. You want that repetition, feel free. You can always attend that. So we kind of cover the same topics most of the time. But if you want that, you can attend. That is up to you. But it's not compulsory. 2 sessions are compulsory, which is the Thursday Magic of Mornings at 5 o'clock, and this session. These are 2 compulsory. Everything is additional. Okay. So I hope we are clear about the next steps. Their only objective is to complete the existing bootcamp or completing the King subject, which you are currently studying, and be prepared with explaining the subject within 15 minutes. How do you explain the subject within 15 minutes using an index mapping exercise is what you have to do. So if this structure is clear, if this is clear, please type clear. Perfect. Okay, so I think that is what we have discussed. So any quick questions, 2-3 questions. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, and then we'll leave, because I wanted to go back and sleep, and these 10 days are very intensive. The load is there, so don't miss the routine.
So may I ask one question?
Yes, please, Aryan. Yes.
So I won't take much time, but I have just prepared this index mapping of indirect tax. I just want to show you how it is, because I saw everyone else's, they have like written 3 to 4 words, and mine is flooded with texts. So I just want to show you how it is.
Guys, shall we give Aryan officially like 3 to 5 minutes that he has done some work? Let him present. Let's directly present. Aryan, go ahead and present. Okay. I think, can I get a thumbs up from all of you? Like, it's your time, not my time. Oh, fantastic. You're a great crowd. So go ahead and present. So
if you guys are not willing, I don't need to. I won't present. I'll just show you.
You got an opportunity. You got an opportunity. Go ahead. Don't waste time. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Make it brief. 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I hope the screen is visible.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so I have done this index mapping for indirect taxes. So this is, I was just not figuring out how to write 3 to 4 words. So I have just flooded it with text. So the first is GST and introduction. We all know what it is. We all know that it's a value-added tax, and destination-based multiple stage collection is there. And we also aware of the fact that various taxes have been subsumed in it, like VAT, excise, sales tax, and also like lottery, betting, gambling taxes, etc. Another one is like taxes which have not been subsumed, which is particularly more important to notice, which is based like property tax, electricity duty, basic customs duty, and many more. So still there are certain goods which are like petroleum products, alcoholic liquor for human consumption, where still central excise and state excises are being levied on manufacture, VAT and CST on sale. On the other hand, we have tobacco, opium, narcotics, where central excise and state excises are being levied on manufacture, but on sale we have GST. So moving quickly on the next one, which is supply under GST, we all know like why the whole base of GST is supply, and why is supply most evident, most important, most vital, because it's the taxable event, because it is the main event because of which the whole concept of GST exists. So what is this supply? The taxable event is supply. Now, So supply actually includes all forms of sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, lease, rental, disposal, and also, like, there are certain schedules given, which are schedule 1 that describes certain transactions which are supply even if there is no consideration, because for supply there needs to be some sort of consideration. So schedule 1 puts out the transactions where no consideration is required to become a supply. Now schedule 2 actually helps us in identification what transactions are good and what transactions are services, which is comparatively different from section 8, which talks about the composite supply and mixed supply, not going much in detail. Schedule 3 actually talks about pretty vital, because these puts out the transactions which excludes supplies. Like there are ample, I guess, 12 transactions that are not called supply. So one more important aspect here is import of service. Now, import of service, if it's for a consideration, whether or not it's in the course of furtherance of business, it's gonna be supply anyways. However, it is exempted for individual HUF if not in for like if it's not in furtherance of course of business. So now, if it's like without consideration, it will still be supply if it's from deemed distinct person or from related persons, and it has been you know it has been stated in schedule 1 as well. Moving on to the next, which is charge of GST. Now, what is this charge of GST? Because once we got identified that the taxable event is supply, now we need to understand how this GST is going to be charged on that. So on that event. So the extent and commencement of this GST law is throughout India, and then extent and commencement is throughout India, and then this supply has been segregated as interstate and intrastate. Now, what is this interstate supply? All depends on the location of supply and the location of the supply and the place of supply. If they are in the same state, it's going to be intra. If they're in different state, they're going to be inter. Moving on, I'm leaving, but I would just state that there's this thing called as composition levy, which is really much kind of a relaxation for the small taxpayers, because GST, the main registration scheme involves like lot of compliances. So most of the small taxpayers, they kind of feel messed up. Okay, talking in pretty layman language, but they feel pretty messed up for that. So that's why there's this composition levy, which has comparatively lesser compliances, and so there are certain this situation, they get this facility if their aggregate turnover is like more than the 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 40 lakh limit, but it is lesser than 75 lakh and 1.5 crore. Okay. Like
that's enough, Aryan. Yeah, we
yeah.
got the context.
So, and I would just like to show you the briefing, so if it is okay or not, because I'll work on the next. This one is for exemptions. Then place of supply.
Understood.
Okay. So I'll just show you. I have literally written so much. I want to show you. I just don't know why. Input tax credit. So this is it. I'll just show you last few pages. And also I added these few pages. I just found it pretty interesting, so I added this extra. And yes, they're done. Stopping.
See, I'll summarize my feedback in one sentence.
So,
Index mapping exercise is supposed to give you 12 to 15 marks. you have built it for 25 to 30 marks. It's 2x of the expectation. Insane work. There could be 3 reasons. Number 1, you're really good at IDT. Number 2, IDT is really interesting for you. And number 3, as you're doing it, you found the exercise to be very useful. So you didn't want to leave it in 50-50. You went ahead and finished it off. So this is like revision material. I would say the ICA reference which I'm saying, exceptional job, like commendable job. So if you can do it, please do it. The whole point is, I'm sure it would not have taken one day.
Yes, sir, definitely. That's why I was just
So no, that's what it is. It's okay. So the point is, when we share something, it definitely works in any condition. Over and above, you always have to question. Let's say when I ask you to do something, a boot camp for 5 days. Now, if you end up spending 5 days on index, it'll defeat the overall purpose. But having said that, you've done some solid work which solves the problem forever. That's okay. Once in a time exception is fine, but you've done it better than what is expected. So there is no doubt about it, and that works like revision material. And just like I promised Manogna and team to, Fatima to work on the complete corporate law, you can exclusively focus on IDT. This is very good work, and the way you interconnected, your choice of words are very precise. They're not vague. Like when I say write any 3 words, but you have actually put in, I think it has taken a lot of time. Excellent job. This is fine. My only concern is time. When you're starting with the very first time, when you spend too much time, you get stopped at multiple tracks. But yes, your job is done for IDT. Good job. Like this is one more reference for the rest of you. But having said that, while you're doing bootcamp, stick to 1 day. If you can do it in 1 day, there is no one stopping you. But if you say that I took 10 days, then it's not something which I could advise. Okay, but anyways, it's a fantastic reference for you to have a great index, and this is what I expect you to do it in the revision part. Ideally, as I said, you do it in the next time, right? October or something. That's fine. But I'm sure, yeah, it's good that you showed it, because see, when you put that kind of effort, we would like to show it, obviously, right? It's worth, kind of showing it and uploading across. Good job. So once all of this are done, we'll collect all the index mapping summaries. We'll make sure all of you will get access also. Okay. Right now, let it happen, let it improve. We're seeing improvisations. So by the end of, before we start July 21st, like before we get into the 70 day syllabus completion zone, all of you will get access to all the indexes, good indexes, good quality indexes. You can even take a printout and you can use it as your short notes, depending on how legible the writing is, how much you're able to connect to the other person. Ideally, you should have your own index, but having said that, we'll have an extra layer of support from the best references. Okay. Cool. Good job, Aryan. Yes.
So, but just one more thing. So, like, I just wanted to say that IDT is not my king subject. So I don't know. I just like made it because found it pretty good.
No. See, this might turn it out. You don't know. The whole point is it's not written in like black and white that this is your king subject. What happens is it keeps changing. So you're starting with the assumption that this is a king subject. There are some people, right? Pawn and king will become ulta after 10 days. Because once you study something deeply, you'll start liking it. So there are different ways of it. So that's okay. As long as you're able to score, that's totally fine. So that's cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So
Sir,
yes, please.
Sir, this IME to be done in 10-day strategy is the second time to be done, or it is of a boot camp?
No. When you do that, when you have, because on day 1 you have 3 things, not just IMA. There is something else also, right? Yes. I'm giving you the 3 hours to revise what has already been done. Like you invested 10 hours in the first doing it. This time you're supposed to revise it. You don't have to create it. You are supposed to revise it along with something else. So that is exactly where it's coming in. Yeah, it's revision for 3 hours. Yes.
Clear.
Yes. Any other questions?
Sir, actually, Aaron has done what I wanted to ask. So even my index mapping is going pretty long for 40 to 45 pages. So I was having it out whether I should present it or not. But as you have said, okay. And then at present, I'm now doing SFM, sir. That's my king subject, and auditing is my pawn subject. And I have done the IME for auditing. So my doubt is whether I should present auditing or I should go with SFM. Because you said that see, you're doing the king subject, do the IME.
What is the subject which you're currently doing?
SFM, sir.
Okay, just do it for that. Or if you think your auditing has already come to a better shape than this already, then probably be ready with
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So I mean, I want to do auditing because I have done considerably like 40
No,
pages of
then mention it. See,
presentation. So
all of you will get a
just-
form. Okay, I'll tell you
yes.
how we will know. All of you will get a form. We'll ask you what is the king subject. Ideally, you're studying for it, right? If it's
Yes.
matching, that's okay. Otherwise, you mention it. That's okay. Auditing is a king subject and upload it. We'll next time we'll give chance to only, because as I said today, I want you to understand the gaps in not working together in a synchronic basis. Next time we'll pre-filter it and everybody will know who is going to present all of that one day in advance. So I'll get a chance to upload. So you can take a call if you think you've done some phenomenal work. And we'll also have some rewards. Okay, next time we'll do some voting within the probably the top 2 presenters will get something within the session. Okay, we'll have an voting also. Okay, guys. So I think we have exceeded the time. So I shared a short message in the group. So this time I'm asking you top 3 lessons. When I say lesson, it's deeper than takeaway. Takeaway is something which you take at a superficial level. Lesson is something which you have to go back and implement. So you experience something in terms of working together, meeting deadlines, presentation, or in terms of the execution. So what are the 3 lessons which you're able to remember and use it further is what I want you to go back and share it in the group. Just do it in the next 2-3 minutes. I've already shared it. Key lessons. Like when I say lesson, yes, this is something which I have to implement. This is something which I have to work upon. Preparation needs consistent team effort, not just coordinating at last minute. Fantastic. Good one. Good one, Tansi. Rehearse and be prepared for everything. Try understanding what is exactly demanded, present accordingly. Perfect. Meet the hardcore deadline, effort is necessary, and to say no. Good. Deadlines are considered as hard and do not procrastinate. Time management critical. Go the extra mile. Teamwork. Yes. I think you're learning the right lessons, which we would like you to learn actually. Yes. Nice. You're able to see the benefit of IME. I think now it's very visible, clearly visible in front of your eyes when you're experiencing the 10 to 15-minute revision. That's very cool, right? Yes, you're right about it. Yes. Importance of presentation, planning before presentation, right? Understood that it's neither now or never, since my mindset is that something, okay, deadline has to be taken as deadline. Yes, not to be radhajic, right? This is something very, very important. Presentation vital, teamwork. Okay. Perfect. I think you're getting it in the right sense. So one thing which I'm seeing is teamwork and importance of IME. Like, yes, IME is more important than you can ever think. IME is a game changer this time. If you do it properly, it'll easily add 15 to 20 marks, only IME alone. Like, because we're doing it once, revising it again and redoing it again. And apart from that, you're getting access from other sources also. Like, you'll get to revise it a number of times. So this is magical. I'm saying this alone will solve it. This alone will solve it. This time I'm betting on it heavily. Last time, if you see the testimonials, they would talk about focus block slots. They would talk about, I would say, exam mistake tracker. They would talk about magic of mornings, all of that. This attempt, like November 23, I'm telling you, 70% of testimonials will talk about IME, because we have meticulously planned it so well that you'll see the benefit. Like, IME is going to be a game changer, especially for the kind of question paper you're receiving. It's not, they're very hard. Like, you can see that with regular knowledge and with regular understanding, we won't be able to crack it. It becomes very hard. So you need to have that depth and command over this. So IME is a game changer technique this time. Okay. So please share it off. Please finish it off. Okay. And let's get started. For tomorrow, as usual, make sure you hit your targets by 10. Since all of you are mentioning that you have to hit your targets, that is exactly what you have to do. And in terms of inviting your friends, I'll share the link. I'll share the timetable and I'll share the link. Please share it at least. Whoever needs it, please do it. That is the least thing which you can do. It takes less than 5-10 minutes. That is something which you can do from your side. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. And once again, blessings of all the revered gurus to you to have a very, very bright and prosperous future. It's not about the results day, but this journey which you have started, it will conclude. Either you'll become a chartered accountant in November, or worst scenario, if you have to write group wise, it's in May. That's it. But you will become a chartered accountant. End of story. Either way, it's good. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.